Good evening. How you doing?
No,
I said, well, I just start by myself and
that's right.
eventually he'll tap in here. I know you was running up the stairs and shit getting to the computer. You know what? The last two or 3 weeks, when I post the video from YouTube over to Facebook, or even the Facebook videos that go live when we do it through StreamYard, now I'm getting a copyright infringement, like a copyright notice that the music that's played in the 30-second countdown is copywritten. And so we now have to give credit. And I'm like, this is like a whole platform that like, man, y'all should have figured this out between StreamYard and Facebook. I mean, it's fine because you want to give credit where credit is due. But I'm like, all of a sudden now, the 30-second countdown is getting me a copyright like warning. And I can't afford to be having no Facebook warnings. I can't be having no breach of contract issues, no violation of terms of service. So I just thought about that when I hit the 30-second timer. I was like, all right, we really do got to get us our own damn music on here because even that is getting flagged on Facebook. I'm like,
It's
and you
only a
can't
matter
post
of time.
nothing.
Everything is going out.
It is. You can't post nothing. Welcome to the show. Hello, everybody. Hello, those who are tapping in from all the different places you can tap into us from. Welcome to another episode of Free Thinkers. Today is Tuesday, February, not April 19th. Tomorrow's 420, not today. 419, April 19th, Tuesday, April 19th. So welcome to another episode of Free Thinkers. If you haven't already done so, please do go over to our YouTube channel and subscribe and join our YouTube channel. It is Free Thinkers Worldwide. It is in my bio. It is all over the place. Also, you can go to our Facebook group on Facebook, our Facebook group on Free Thinkers, which is hashtag Free Thinkers, and you can join us over there. That is where we have our daily, hourly, secondly conversations, all day, all night long. Conversations extend well past Tuesday night. Tuesday night is just when we come on here live and we talk about whatever, or like tonight, pick a post where we literally pick posts from the group page of stuff that everybody's posted, whether it's me, Q, or one of the 577 fantastic members that we now happen to have. People just post stuff and then we talk about it. But a lot of times, we'll get to a point in conversation where we'll be like, you know what, let's just talk about this on Tuesday because it's just too much to type. And this is what we do. People like to see us talk about stuff, and people like to participate in the debate and conversation about stuff. So join us on the Free Thinkers Facebook page and YouTube channel because they are two different formats, obviously. You can interact live in the live comment section on both. So both Facebook and YouTube comments will show up in our comment section here so we can engage with y'all that way. Only the comments on YouTube will be visible to us here in the us and y'all in the chat. But obviously, if you chat with us in the Facebook live video, then you can talk to whoever's in the chat room. But we will interact with you on that way too. So if you'd like to join tonight's conversation, and again, it's just pick a post. So you don't have to have already been to the page to know what we're going to talk about. You can just join conversation with us as we talk about those things. But certainly if you have been on the page this week and you're like, oh man, somebody posted such and such, or I wanted to talk about this one, that's what we're doing tonight. So you can
I
certainly
like
go
pick a
to the
post.
I do too, because it does give us an opportunity to discuss the things that we've been briefly discussing on the page, but
Right.
obviously be able to go into much more detail and certainly share accurate perspectives by hearing what another person has to say versus just reading what somebody is
Speaking
typing.
of sharing, I'm
Speaking
taking
of
this out.
sharing, this is the time. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm taking the time to share. Smack says share the blank
The
out of
bleep
this.
out of this. Yep.
I'm not gonna
Share
say
it.
that, but yes, let's share. If you listening in, if it's any good points or any if you listening, then share. It's
Yeah.
that simple.
That's the easiest way to support us is hit the share
Right.
button.
It
And,
is.
and we appreciate everybody that watches us. Our live counter, I've noticed over the last couple of weeks is definitely not accurate. So I don't know, I think that all groups sometimes have shadow banning issues, but we definitely have more people watching us than what Facebook will tell us as we are going. So we know that you guys are out there watching us, and we appreciate you, even if you don't comment. Like, we don't know you're watching, but we certainly do appreciate you. But sharing us is the easiest, most amazing way to help support us and help support what we do, and hopefully take us to the next level by literally hitting the share button. Both pages, both platforms are open for people to join, whenever you want to. You don't have to participate. You don't have to do Tuesdays with us. You don't have to do every Tuesday with us. But I think you'll come to find, as you spend a little bit of time, like, getting to know folks and kind of seeing how we engage on the page, that it's a great outlet for adult, fair conversation and debate. So join us on both of those places, share us on both of those places. If you want to get involved in tonight's conversation and be live in the conversation with us, you need to go to the Freethinkers Facebook page, and at the very top, I have a pinned post that has a StreamYard link in the comment section for tonight. So click on that StreamYard link, and it'll drive you directly into our live panel, and you will be a guest on the panel. If you're not interested in being live on the panel, but you want to interact in the comments, you can do that easily. It's in both places, not a problem. You can tap in whenever you want to. We prefer that you jump in when we begin, so that way, we're all caught up, but certainly you can jump in, as soon as you can. And if you need to tap out a little bit early, for running over, or you're just getting tired or whatever, got noise in the background or whatnot, that's fine. You can jump out whenever you need to as well. Earbuds do definitely help keep your background noises down. And adult language. I did a whole 60 minutes with y'all yesterday, and I didn't use one bad word.
You said damn, but it was
man. I even said free.
We let it slide. She said, yeah, it's just, yeah, you're all right.
But I was like, great. I was like, now Q's going to be holding me to the standard, right? We're like, she can control her mouth. She just doesn't always. So
no, I don't want you to. No, let it fly. Let it fly. Think freely. Let your mind go free.
And but with that being said, adult language, some of us do use adult language, so totally up to you whether or not you want this to be on speaker or want your children to listen to you. It's totally up to you. But that is certainly something that you need to decide, because this is not a clean show. It's just not.
Yeah.
So
not just the language, the content can be adult as well.
It's adult content and adult language, and that's what we do, and that's what we love to do. And it's hell. So does everybody else, because that's
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah. So, did you have any topics in particular that are right off the top of the dome? Because I saved quite a few that I put into the little category here to pop up. But did you have any in particular that you were thinking of, first of all?
No, but it was one that grabbed my attention, and I gotta find it. So don't worry.
What do you think it was?
I'll know it when I see it.
Okay.
And I'm looking through right now, but it'll come back to me.
Okay.
It's more than likely you will run across the same thing that I'm thinking.
Okay.
But go ahead. What's first thing on your mind?
So one of the ones that I posted today, I put it on my personal page and I put it on the Freethinkers group page, and it is not showing up in the overlays that I just added to the page. But it was basically a post talking about, let's see. Sorry, I was trying to find it. All right, can't find it. It was a post that was talking about you and your partner in a relationship putting your phones on share my location.
I told you, I knew you was gonna find it.
That's the one you were talking about?
Right, yep. I knew it. I'm like, it's gonna be it.
And I could have swore I saved it to my thumbnail to add to the damn screen so you can see it, but unfortunately it's not in there. So I'm sorry, it's not visible to be seen. But basically what the quote said was, I said relationships in 2022 is sharing your location with your partner. And a lot of people in the comment section were like, what's wrong with that? And a lot of people were like, well, I do it for safety reasons. A lot of people say, oh, well, I do it with my kids. Moke was like, what's share my location? He's like, I have a Droid. He was like, is this an iPhone thing? And I was like, I don't know, but
I got a Droid too.
Yeah, I do too. And like
but it's doable. They got apps where you can
right. So like I've shared trip status like when I travel. Like if Cash is not with me when me and the boys are traveling, like I share my trip status with her so she can see where the hell we are whenever we're going. But like just to have my phone on share my location, like her and one of her girlfriends do this. There's so many times where she'll be like, oh, I'm looking for so and so. Let me just turn on the location and see where she's at.
No,
and I'm like,
hell no.
That's this what they do. So this is what share my location
is.
No. So as long as you have it on share, whoever you're sharing with can turn that stuff on at any point and see where you are.
No.
So a lot of people on the page were like, of course, I have nothing to hide. I don't go anywhere I'm not supposed to go.
It don't matter. It don't even matter.
And this like, it sounds like cop talk, right? Like, you have nothing to hide. You didn't do anything wrong. Right. And then there was a few people on there who were like, no, absolutely not. Like, definitely not doing that. So share your location. Would you share your location? Just not trip-wise, but just
everywhere I'm at.
Open-ended, share my location all the time with my significant other.
Everywhere I'm at.
Everywhere you go. No. How come? What are your problems with that? And maybe problem is even a wrong word, but what issues do you take with sharing your location with your significant other?
I don't, you know what? Maybe it's just because in general, it's not that I would have a problem with it, but it could be my pushback to the way things in the world are going.
Right.
And everything is everything is already so intrusive right now.
The phone's already listening to you.
The phone listening to you, they watching you, they giving you advertisements of anything that you speak about. If you in a vicinity of a total stranger for more than 5 minutes, then they're going to suggest a new friend invite.
Yes.
It's like everything. And it's like, so those are things already that if I want to engage in this technology, that just comes along with it. Like a lot of that is out of my control, which I wish it would. Only thing that's not out of your control is you just go back to the Stone Age.
You don't use the service
to do.
Right.
But at the same time, just because a lot of these things are happening, I'm not going to willfully give away my privacy just because it's already happening. Anything that I have the ability to control, I will control. And having someone and willfully just giving someone the rights to know about my whereabouts at all, that's, for me, that's an unnecessary invasion of privacy. And I know people like that. They got tracker. I know couples and they got trackers on each other. No. I don't. Let me say it. I don't like the mindset. So then why is it different
for us to do it to our children? Would you do it with your kids, like when your kids get their driver's license? So how is it different for us to do it?
My kids, I put a chip in their.
Like, I want to know at all times. So how is that different than? How is that different than maybe our partner expecting?
They're not adults. That's why.
But no,
they're not adults.
So when they turn 18, can they say, "Dad, I don't want you to have a chip on my phone no more"?
Yeah. They could, but as children, and you know the way the world is right now, and they stealing babies and they doing all kind of crazy, deranged type stuff. No, I would want to know. I'd put a chip in my dog. So you know, certain things that's just that's a protection thing.
Right.
Something. The worst thing in the world is, you know, you lose a child and you have no idea where they're at, and you definitely wish you had a way to find them and track them.
Right.
And it has its value. And even if I'm in a relationship and someone decides I'm okay with it as for like emergency, like if they can't contact me and they getting worried, then there's just like if you lose your phone, if you have a certain app on your phone, you can track your phone.
Find my phone.
Yeah, find my phone. And I've done that a couple times. And you know, I'm looking for my phone. No, we haven't seen it. Look, I'm looking at the tracker. It's somewhere around here.
Right.
Oh, okay. They put it in the back. Here it is. All right, thank you. But I mean, those things come in handy. So think about just a phone, but if it was a person that you needed to get if you need to track down and get a hold of, that's very important. So I'm not okay, let me say it like this. I'm not opposed to it on emergency basis.
Right.
I can't contact you. I'm concerned. I've reached out to you several times. I'm not getting an answer. Something strange. I need to find out where you at. I'm totally okay with that.
Right.
But I got a little red blinking dot to show your whereabouts every time you move. No, I'm not cool with that. And I don't want that for the person I'm with either.
Right.
I don't need to know where you at all the time.
So Bully, Bully says, so George says, he says, but that's exactly why I want to know where my spouse is. People are very dangerous. Like, and I can't speak for any other place than where we live, right? We live in Austin, Texas, right? So maybe there are certainly places where that is a legitimate concern of a spouse, maybe especially a man to his wife. Like, you know, maybe we live in a dangerous part of town, or just, you know, a city with high crime and, you know, kidnappings and rapes and, you know, shit like that or whatever. But like, is that really what it is? Like,
this is what it is. See, and this is, I understand people saying that.
I do too, because I always know that you're safe.
There's other ways. You remember back in the 80s, where what is they called with the old people? They got the life alert or something like that. If they trip and they just push the button, and then I'm falling. And how come you can't have some type of life alert to where the person, if they are in danger or feeling in danger, they can push a button, and then you know it's an emergency. Then it flags you to say, "Hey, I'm over here and I need some help." Versus you just tracking them all the time.
I mean, in 2022, technology advances and changes. That's kind of what a cell phone is. Like, did you know that, like, on a cell phone, at least with droids, because we have the same phone, you can set it up to where, like, if you click your volume button like 2 or 3 times back to back, it sends an emergency SOS meeting message to whomever you set as your emergency contacts. It can record like a quick 15-second video, like as you're pushing the button to show like I'm in the fucking trunk of a car, or like I'm like, so I mean, that's the same thing as the life alert button, but you don't have to share my location on to use that feature either. Like,
and if you want to go further, then that's when you put the chip inside of you.
Yeah, we're not doing that either.
But let me listen. If somebody trying to kidnap you, they're not gonna let you keep your phone with you.
Right.
They tossing that phone.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
So
for sure. True. So what if you?
So hold on. Even with that, so that kind of tears down the excuse of, well, if you're in trouble, I need, because in most cases you're not gonna keep that phone no way. You're gonna find out the last place before they threw the phone off. So
but you're gonna find anyways.
That's not actually keeping you safe.
Right.
If that's the case, then you get a chip. Now I don't subscribe that you keep the I don't like the 24/7. You know, every time I turn around the corner, I turn the block, I walk across the street. No, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I'm a grown man.
I have a problem with it too. I definitely have a problem with it too. And it's not because I have a sneaky bone in my body. It's not because you're not already going to be told where I'm going and who I'm going with. And you know what I'm saying? But I do realize obviously things happen. Nobody ever plans on getting kidnapped. Nobody plans on being, you know, robbed and, you know, murdered. Like, nobody plans on those types of things happening, obviously. But I do too. I have a problem with that. And I think a part of that for me is also, it's just an invasion of privacy. And maybe too, like you, it's my pushback to, you know, fuck this shit, you know, and the fact that you already know where the phones can already know where you are because it's on your person. And if you're moving around with your phone knows where you are, knows your location. So that's already happening. And I guess, you know, some people may say, well, then what's the big deal of giving your spouse permission? Because I don't not give my spouse permission about anything in my life, but I don't know. I'm just not doing that. I have a problem with that.
Right.
With my kids, it's different, you know, but with another adult human, like my partner, like I'm funny about that. What happens if our spouses want that and request that and then end up having a problem because we don't want to? Do we just do it to make them happy, or does it become an issue?
That's a good question.
Because if we're not doing any sneaky shit, then of course, fine, you can know where I'm at. I'm not lying and sneaking, but it's the principle for me, as it's the principle for them of wanting to know and make sure that you're safe all the time.
I gotta get to the root of it.
It's got to be a root. There's a root cause.
I mean, the root of why a person would be so adamant about you being tracked. If there's any level of you doing it out of insecurity, too bad.
Right.
Because that is, let me tell you, that's not the way to cater to a person's insecurity.
No, you're feeding the insecurity.
You're feeding it, and it's never going to be enough.
Right.
Now, if a person tells me, say there was a trauma, say they ex-husband got kidnapped and something happened to him, or they lost a child and the child was, it was a disappearing, someone in their family got disappeared or something like that. I get where it comes from.
Right.
And in order to put them at ease, then I may go along with that. But like I said, I have to get to the root of why. And you can't give me just some regular BS reason why talking about I'm concerned about you. I'm like, no, you got to have some childhood trauma behind that for me to go along with that. I ain't doing it just to do it. I can't.
You obviously have trust issues. There's something in there that is causing trust issues. And if I damn sure haven't given you those trust issues, man, we gonna have a problem with you taking that out on me and expecting that I'm just gonna be okay with that.
So Stacy said it's their responsibility to get some healing. No, I say yes, it is their responsibility to get some healing.
Right.
And going about it that way doesn't help them to heal.
Now, Q, yesterday on High IQ, we talked about relationship changes. Talked about infidelity.
We did.
And I said, and y'all basically said that, if you're going to basically stay with somebody post infidelity, there may be some things you're just going to have to do as the person who stepped out of your relationship.
I was thinking about that also. Yes. Uh-huh.
So, and I said, wouldn't that then for the offending partner possibly create resentments because they're having to check in and having to do these things to try to prove that I'm trying to gain your trust back after
the offending partner has the ability to leave the relationship as well. That's the thing people don't talk about. Even the one who cheats, you need to make a decision also, because you have to think about what could come along with you staying in a relationship after you've been proven untrustworthy.
Yeah. So
in some situations when you cheat, it might be better for you to exit stage left as well.
Right.
Just a thought.
But most of the time they won't. Most of the time,
I know they don't.
The person that cheats won't leave, which is like,
don't. But they should think about it sometime. They definitely
should. Which is why they're cheating, which is personally stupid in my opinion, because it's like, then just leave me. But they don't want that. They don't generally. Okay. They don't generally want to leave the person that they're cheating on. Otherwise, they would have just left and not cheated.
I hear this so
just
often.
Just leave.
Yes, because then I'm also on some singles group and couples groups, and different stuff too. And if you gonna why cheat? Just leave. Like, come on, for real, just leave. You got kids, you got family. Now that should be good reason for you not to cheat.
That should be the reason that you not fucking cheat.
It should be. It should be.
So just as it's easy for you to go on ahead and do all that, it can be just as easy for the next person to pack up their shit and leave.
That's not like
it's not realistic for everybody.
It's not realistic,
especially not in this economy. But it's an option. And I would rather somebody leave me than cheat on me.
Let's be honest. No, let's be honest.
Leave me. Don't cheat on me.
Let's break this down. Let's be honest. In at least half of the cases, if not most of the cases, people who are cheating don't want to leave.
Right. That's why they cheating. Shit.
They want some type of release. They want to get away. They want this, just the whatever, but they don't want to leave.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes people, and I think maybe this is where women get this wrong. good. I ain't got myself in trouble in a long time. This is where women get this wrong. You assume because a man cheats that they don't want the relationship anymore, or that there's something wrong with you, or that person is better, or that they're not satisfied. It can be so many reasons and just not that. So that's what gets me when somebody say just leave. Like, what? Why would they leave? No, I definitely agree. It's not a good idea. But when people, it's too dismissive when people say just leave.
But it's an option. But it is an option.
No, because they don't want. Okay, hold on. All right, I'm on free thinkers, not high IQ. I was about to cuss, but
you can say whatever you want.
My mom will still be.
Few people have made it over to free thinkers.
My mom will still be watching. I got to think about it sometimes. But people, they want a different piece of tail, but that don't mean the different piece of tail. That don't mean they want it to be their permanent tail.
No, they're selfish as shit. They're selfish.
So that's why they not leaving.
I'm just saying it's an option. It is an option. If you are genuinely and truly not happy in your relationship and you are getting your needs met outside of your relationship, like
that's only one need though.
Who says
one need?
Right. But we don't know that, but we don't know. That's just the act of the sex. There could be an emotional relationship that, they could be spending far more time, intimately, not just sexually, to where they're growing a relationship way more than just the sexual aspect.
Nikki, who's to say they're genuinely unhappy?
I'm just saying some situations that is the case, but yeah, some probably I get this.
But that's my point.
Do you cheat when you're? I guess some people do cheat when they're not happy. What the fuck?
You can be. You can let. I tell you much of my business, but I tell you, I sometimes in my cheating days.
Right.
A person would ask me like, oh, well, what's going on? People who knew me or knew my situation. What's going on? Nothing. Me and my wife, we good.
Damn.
It wasn't anything bad. It wasn't nothing wrong with her. It wasn't nothing bad. It was.
Well, no, it's something wrong with you. It wasn't about her.
Yeah, it could be something was wrong with me. So it don't have to be, well, I'm not happy. I was pretty happy.
But something had to not be plugging in somewhere for you to look outside of that marriage to feel as though something was not being met. Like, and again,
sex with multiple people was not being met.
So
women want a complicated answer. I'm trying to give y'all a simple. Sometimes it's complicated. Sometimes it's simple. What's not being met
I think
is
it's always
orgies and the ability to have
is
sex
always
with
complicated.
Several dozen women. That's what wasn't being met. Now, I wasn't doing that, but I'm just saying that's the mindset. It don't have to be something wrong. Sometimes people just like variety, and I'm using men because I am a man, but I know it's just as many women because I got a lot of female friends, and ain't no different. They get down the same way, and they'll excuse it, and they'll act like it didn't even happen. Oh, well, that don't count. That was they'll tell women to say that don't count in a second. Oh no, him? What about that don't even count.
It was just one time. Really? It didn't count.
I'm like, really? It don't count.
No, but that could be. But again, it goes back to, for me, I think it goes back to being selfish. It goes back to being selfish. Like you cannot tell one person you're in a committed relationship with them and not being unfaithful, but absolutely being unfaithful. Like that makes you ultimate selfish, greedy. Like, and I'm not just saying I'm just saying people who cheat in committed relationships. Like that's not fair.
Absolutely selfish and greedy. And this is. All right, I'll save that for another. That'd be for another conversation because I'm about to go all the way down the rabbit hole. Ivory, would you be okay with someone
significant other?
Your significant other. Yeah. You guys keeping a tracker on each other.
The share my location with your partner post.
Yeah, I commented. I said for safety reasons, sure. Just to know where I'm at, no.
Okay, so your answer is no.
I mean,
you kind of like me, like no, but if it's an emergency, then you should be able to type in some code or something to be able to pull up my location when needed, but not just a 24/7. Oh, that's where she at. All right, She on
I
Westheimer. She turned down Westheimer.
Right. She right up the street. Yo, you gotta go. She right around the corner.
Right. Oh, that works two ways. You know?
Hello.
She on the highway.
She's almost home. He's almost home. You gotta go.
We're single, and they keep their location on with each other because they date a lot, you know. So they want to be able to, you know, see where each other is, just while they're going out on dates. And so I know people who share their location with people,
right,
just for safety reasons.
Right.
But just I'm tracking you. Where they do that? No, we're not doing that.
So I ask you, what if your significant other asked that of you? Like, what if he said, like, I would like for you to use the share my location whenever you leave the house. I just want to make sure that you're safe wherever you go, and I know where you are. And like Bully said in the comments, at least if something happens, we know the last location. Like, what if he presented to you in a safety fashion? How would you feel about that?
That would be fun. I mean, I'm not doing nothing wrong, so I don't know.
You know what? Let me say it like this. You got to look, the statement in itself can seem innocent, but you need to pay attention to all the surrounding factors. Like, outside of just this statement, how does this person act? Are they controlling? Are they manipulative? Right. Are they overbearing? Are they insecure? Like, outside of just that statement, what type of person are they? And the type of person they are can tell you about the intention of them wanting to track you.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because if you married a controlling person and then they come at you talking about, I just want, because a lot of times controlling people always say stuff is about safety.
Right.
But you know if they're controlling or not. And then, I mean, you have to be really honest about who you are. Like, I know I've talked to women who husbands are like super particular about like how late they are at, and no, don't go to the store because it's this late or whatever. And like, I don't live like that. Like, I don't even watch the local news because I don't want to live my life as a fraidy cat. And it'd have you stay in your house and never leave it. So I don't even watch it. But like the other day, I told my husband, like, it was 10. I'm like, I want to go to Walmart and get something. And he's like, oh, all right. Like, I couldn't be with somebody who was like, oh, it's too late for that. It would just drive me nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be different if it was like pre-COVID and it was like 2 a.m. and you just up, just insomnia, and you're like, I'm gonna go to the store. Okay. I mean, and that's fine. You can do that too.
I'm like, go.
Like, so like Tiger says, so what happens if an emergency happens and you're not able to contact me? I mean, so what having
ain't nothing 100%.
So yeah, so having it on does not obviously guarantee that, you know, you're gonna fucking be safe because you have it on. So is it more than just safety? Is it more than just
no, literally.
Put the chip in your arm.
No,
I
watched a news story, and a girl, she went to the store, and a guy took her, you know, was waiting for her at a car with the gun. And like drove her somewhere like secluded and raped her or whatever. But like she had her location on her phone, and she found a way before he was gonna kill her to call, I guess, her boyfriend or whoever, her fiance. And like, since the location was on, he knew where to send the police to.
Rule of thumb, people.
You said what?
I said rule of thumb. Somebody threaten you with a gun, a knife, whatever. Don't get in the car with them.
I know.
You better off getting shot. If they really gonna shoot you, then just let them shoot you, but don't let them take you off nowhere else.
But she didn't end up
most
dying.
cases,
the police got there before he killed her.
Yeah.
But
in most cases, they trying to scare you into secluding you away from the rest of society. Don't you ever go, just scream. And if they decide to shoot you in a Walmart parking lot that got cameras all over the place, then that's just what's gonna happen.
Right.
Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not doing share my location. And it's not about being sneaky. It's not about being deceptive. It's not about, you know, oh, I'm somewhere that I'm not supposed to be. Like, I'm not with it. I'm not. Like, I don't like it. Like, and hopefully I don't ever, you know, come across a man who's like, oh, well, I need to know where you at 24/7. Like that type shit where I have to keep it on. Like, come on, man. Why? I don't want to do that. I don't.
Ladies and men. Ladies more so. You got to pay attention to the signs early. The first couple dates, oh yeah, they cool. But then by the time that third or fourth date come around, the little stuff. I text you twice. How come you ain't respond back to me? Nigga, I'm at work. Why you? It's the question.
Right.
When they start asking those questions, you gotta pay attention up front. You gotta pay attention up front. Those are the little signs that people miss, and then they act like they don't know why they end up with this deranged fool.
Right.
Like, the signs are always there.
Oh man, Quentin, you know, back before caller ID and cell phones, I think we were living in Austin at the time. You just had the house phone, right?
I had a little AT&T phone, and it was little.
I don't know if it was being cheap, but it didn't have no caller ID on it.
Right.
And I was talking to a guy, and I picked up the phone, and he said hi or whatever, and I said, "Who is this?" And he was like, "What do you mean? Who is this? How many people calling you?" But
always.
We had only been talking like a few weeks or like a month, but you know what's funny? As soon as he said, "Who all calling you?" I said, "Oh, I know who this is, because only one person I'm talking to would talk to me this way." And I think we should stop talking. I was like, oh, I instantly knew because of his attitude and the control, like who it was. And I was like, nah, we're not talking anymore. Because only a certain person like flips like that so soon.
Pick it up early. It don't get no better. It don't get no better.
What about shared profiles?
I think that's so corny.
I
know people do it. I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. I just think it's super corny.
Either, but that was one of the comments that Dope had put.
No offense, guys, to all the people who do it. No offense, but I think that's corny.
I mean, unless you are 82 and you and Granddaddy just got social media last week, like y'all can have a page together, but like you 23, you and your man got a mutual page. What they say, which one of y'all cheating? Which one of y'all got caught cheating? Because
somebody don't trust somebody.
Yeah, that's not it for me. I'm not doing no joint page.
Older people do it, right? Because nobody really cares about social media anyway, so they want to share their grandchildren together.
Right. And usually one of them doesn't do computers at all. So
it's usually just one person's page and the other person don't even
Right. I have some aunts and uncles, you know, and I know my uncle ain't on social media, but it say his name too. So it's just them. It ain't both of y'all. But for young people, that's definitely a trust issue.
Yeah,
it's so corny.
It is
corny.
Well, no,
listen, people. But when I see it, even when I see it, I'd be like, "Oh, really? That's what y'all doing?"
Yeah.
And hold on, let me say this.
It tells you something already off bat. You're like,
the first thought that come to my mind is like, y'all not in a good relationship.
No,
that's just my first thought. But go ahead, Ivory.
I just want us to be fair, right? That I think. I'm just going to give y'all this credit that we're all people with really decent self-esteem, and having really decent self-esteem helps you really not be so susceptible to so much coming at you. But social media is really hard for people who don't have good esteem. You got that instant message coming through. You got people liking stuff. You got people telling you you're cute. You got people from high school saying I missed you. You got people from high school saying I always had a crush on you.
Right.
You got this ex over here saying I thought about you last night.
Right.
And your esteem is bad. That is a lot coming at you all day.
That's true.
So I mean, I just want to be fair.
That is, and in fairness, that's why I can't deal with people. I can't deal with people who have bad self-esteem. That's a lot.
I mean, that's ideal. It'd be ideal to have a partner who doesn't have self-esteem issues. And not all people do have self-esteem issues, but I think that everybody's self-esteem issues vary person to person. Like what the standard self-esteem issues may be for most people, it might be something different for that person's partner. So ideally we wouldn't have self-esteem issues. We would be confident. We would be, happy in our skin. We would, we wouldn't question ourselves and our physical appearance, our outer appearance. We wouldn't have to worry about that. But we live in this society, and unfortunately, painted are the pictures that are supposed to be sexy or supposed to be, attractive, or supposed to be what women are supposed to look like, or what men are supposed to look like or supposed to do. So yeah, that'd be great, but society doesn't generally allow that to be the norm.
And everybody has selling us. I'm sorry. social media is really selling us a kind of a dream life, right?
Hell yeah.
Whereas you're in your normal
better.
life is waking up early, dropping kids off places, working all day, cooking, cleaning up, in the kitchen all night so you can pass out and do it all again tomorrow. And then you get on social media and it's all
these
these
people on
beautiful pictures and
vacation.
pictures and people on
They on
vacation and
vacation. It's
people listening
it's
to
Wednesday,
music
Thursday.
and
Why you on vacation in the
They
middle
at
of the week?
Disney and you at
people at this
home.
and this and this. And it's so
Y'all living
interesting
it up,
and
huh?
fun. And then somebody's in your box, offering you something that's not so mundane and normal anymore. I'm just saying the setup is bad.
It is bad.
The social
and I don't
media
think we're
setup
ever
is
going to get
bad.
away from what social media has entered into our normal culture. Like this is like you and I were talking about at the beginning, like rejecting some of the things that come with where we are today, like just as a society rejecting some things, but like we're not going to be able to erase or eliminate what social media has done to relationships, how it's changed relationships. And I'm not talking about the good stuff that we've gained from social media, because I do enjoy the parts about social media that are positive things, but the negatives, we're not coming away from those. This is I think how some of our relationships just are now and may continue to be. So from here on out, people are going to be creating fake accounts and snooping on somebody that they like, and people are going to be catfishing other people, and people are going to be stalking people's pages and go profile pimping, going through all their profile or all their friend profile lists and see who are you and it's just like, damn, that's too much. That's way too much. And like, I guess for me, that's kind of what sharing your location feels like. It's very intrusive. It's allowed you to think that you can just be in my pocket 24/7 or something, and like entitle you to have a problem with it if I choose not to, or if I don't want to engage in that, or I don't want to make our profile a joint account. Like, no, I don't know. It's just,
let me say this too. I wouldn't mind sharing, but like, let me say, I was out somewhere with my girls, and then I called and said, like we all girls dudes, like, oh yeah, I'm on my way now, but we're still talking, something stupid. And then he says like, oh, I know where you at. You ain't on your way home. Then that would be the last day you ever got that location shared. You would get a run. You would get a run to see if you could handle it. But if you showed that you couldn't handle it by like checking it when you shouldn't be, that would be it. It'd be over.
Speaking of, Nikki, watch Black Mirror.
Which episode am I looking at this time?
I can't remember which episode that is.
Okay.
I'll tell you about it.
I was gonna say, you got to tell me too. When you suggest them, I go watch which one you suggest.
Did you watch the last one? Did you watch the last one I suggested?
What was it called?
What was it? The History of Me? Is that the one?
No, I haven't watched that yet.
Okay.
You ain't watched. All right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you need to watch that one. And
all right.
I'll tell you which one you need to watch too, Nick. I told you to watch Nosedive already, Nikki.
You did. Let me write it on my notebook right now. I'll go watch it tonight. Nosedive.
Yeah, we need to, me and Smack can get on there. We need to just do some Black Mirror conversations
about Nosedive.
Well, we can do it. Shit. We looking for new topics anyway. So let me get on this damn Black Mirror.
You know what was funny, Ivory? What was crazy though? We did a parking lot conversation about Nosedive probably about 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
What's Nosedive about?
You got to watch it, Nikki.
Yeah, I can't give a synopsis.
No, you just got to watch it.
He can't watch the show so damn bad.
I've only been asking you to watch it for a couple of years. So.
And I did. Like, I watched the first season, but I don't remember nothing. So
I can't just give her the setup. It won't take nothing away.
Okay, long story short, basically your credit is ran off of your kindness and popularity.
Okay. I remember that conversation too.
You remember that?
Yeah.
But like not just, but like subjectively, like
right.
On a rating system. So everyone you encounter gets to like rate you, kind of like social media likes. It's like how much does the people you interact with like you? and that's your credit.
And it affects your day-to-day life, where you can live, the type of car you can drive.
Oh, wow.
Everything. It affects everything, just like credit does.
Right. Ooh. So I guess the moral of the episode was be a good person so people give you points and shit, or versus if you're a lousy person, what the alternative
Well,
is.
no, it shows how fake people. It shows how fake people. Yeah, all right. Now you gotta watch it. Yeah.
Okay, so now we gotta go watch Black Mirror.
And she almost drugged me in. I was about to tell her the whole thing. I'm about to tell her the morals, the points.
Stop there.
Okay, so hold on.
What's your next? You got another post? You pulled something up?
It was. I don't want to touch the transgender stuff, but it was.
I don't mind.
It made me laugh. Did you put this on here with the wrestler?
I sure did. You talking about this one right here?
Yes. See the picture just make me laugh because the thing that just makes me laugh is how they use pictures to initiate your thought process,
your emotions,
right?
Yeah, to trigger an emotional.
And they got her. They send it through. This is a wrestling match. They can't rear naked choke you in a wrestling match. But they caught the right time. They took a picture. She looked like she in fear for her life, about to get choked out, and he don't care. It's like you can always find the right picture in a certain way to invoke emotion out of people. Right. That's why I said it was hilarious to me. It wasn't even about the topic. It's just like y'all really reaching in order to grab in order to pull people's emotional strings.
But you obviously know what you're looking at, though, because a lot of people thought it was a lot of people didn't understand what they were looking at. They didn't understand that was a female born boy,
right?
Who, so female to boy fighting an actual woman. Right. And people were saying, this is what y'all wanted. Y'all didn't want transgender people to fight with the gender they identify as. Y'all want people to fight with the gender they were born as. And so in Texas, you're required to play as the sport you're born. And so that's what the argument of that was this is what y'all wanted. So she was born a girl, and she can't fight in the boys division because she was born a girl. So she has to fight in the girls division. But here you have this masculine looking boy who's actually born a girl who's fighting girls. So it looks like a boy beating up a girl. And it was like, this is what y'all wanted. And
but at the end of the day,
she's in fear for her life.
What'd you say, Ivory?
It's still a girl beating up a girl at the end of the day.
Yes and no. If this trans boy has been taking testosterone for 2 or 3 years.
Well, no, she would be taking testosterone. Yeah, she would be taking testosterone to have more manly features.
But
but just testosterone also makes you stronger too.
College and stuff,
right?
There's only a certain level of testosterone you can compete with
right.
Sports. So she hers still can't be over a certain level.
It shouldn't be able to be.
Right.
But I still, if I need to modify what I said before, because I said you play what you were born as. I don't think that should go both ways. If you were born a woman, I can't say that. If you were born a woman and then you transition to a male and you've been taking testosterone for the last 3 years, just like if I'm fighting another man, say I decide to box and he starts taking steroids, and in most cases steroids is just this magnified level of testosterone people are taking, he's gonna be stronger than me. You seen what the Russian did to Apollo Creed? Steroids. Two men, but it wasn't on the same playing field.
I'm agreeing with it if our testosterone levels are still getting tested to make sure that they are not out of bounds.
Yeah, and you said it right. If the testosterone is off and it don't qualify you, then you shouldn't be able to compete.
Right.
Go play chess. Be on the debate team.
But then what about situations like what happened in the Olympics this last year? And we've talked about this before on the show. I think Armand even brought it up a couple weeks ago when we did the transgender athlete conversation, that, what about the two female athletes from some country? Some country in Africa, the two girls who were trying to enter into the track competitions were disqualified because their natural testosterone levels as female born women was just high. And it's not uncommon in the area in which they are from. It's not uncommon for that to be common in women, but they were disqualified from their event. But
Life ain't fair. I don't believe women who have elevated testosterone should be able to compete, especially if they've been able to identify the average or the marker of what a testosterone level should be in a woman, and you have this elevated over whatever the legal limit allows. Then no, you can't compete.
Well, and this is the thing.
Testosterone alone isn't going to be your.
It's huge. It's the
huge.
difference between my shoulders, reason my shoulders look the way it do versus yours.
But testosterone alone isn't going to be your sole advantage. Yes, testosterone is your primary advantage, but then you have bone density. You've got, the weight of a male's bones versus the weight of a female's bones. You've got muscle mass. And there's just so much more to it for me than just the levels of testosterone and progesterone being female versus male that give transgender women, I feel like, an advantage in female sports.
Yeah, for sure. They have
it's the same.
It just doesn't make sense to me that people don't understand that.
It's the same thing, though. Even a female-born woman who has elevated testosterone, they have an advantage.
Which is why they got excluded.
And I understand it.
What the fuck's the word I'm looking for? Disqualified. But well, then, so is this where weight class comes into play? Should certain things be based on weight class?
That won't even make a
over
difference
male versus female testosterone levels? Is everybody getting their testosterone and hormone levels checked?
Because a 135-pound man is not the same as a 135-pound woman.
Right.
It's still different.
This is the thing. If you show up on the track, and it might sound mean, looking them shoulders and that structure looking manly, you probably gonna have to take a test.
You're gonna have to take a test. I ain't got no problem with the test.
And
but
I'm just saying, I know people are like, that's not fair. Okay, but every time it's happened, and I think people bring up that it happens to, I think every time it's happened to Black women. So, I mean, we need to keep
Serena talks about how they would do that to her often.
But this is the thing that's stupid to me, though. Serena's is just hate because Serena's body looks like a woman, a muscular woman.
Right.
But there's nothing about them shoulders, them hips, or that waist that looks manly.
You definitely look like a woman. I ain't gonna lie about that.
I ain't heard no man say they got no manly vibes from her when they look at that body.
No, I don't.
So that is just hate. Serena's part.
Right.
But some of these women who had elevated, like the other woman, Castor, whatever. These women who end up having to get tested, their frames look manly.
Yeah.
And so they ended up having to get tested. But it's the same thing. It's a specialized sport.
Just get tested. So what? Get tested. If you ain't no problem, to get tested. Floyd Mayweather talked about how they would test him periodic, like all the time, because he would never losing. Oh well, keep testing me. Test me all you want to.
Women don't even know this before someone makes them get tested. Like Castor Semenya, she is slightly hermaphrodite, not completely, more woman than male, but she's one of those few people who are kind of in the middle. But she had no idea.
Oh wow!
That she was until they made her get tested. So that's kind of rough.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Right. So it's not like I'm out here taking steroids or I'm taking anything. I didn't know I had extra chromosome, or I didn't know.
Right.
And now you're making me get tested and I'm finding out. And this career that I've had is essentially over.
Damn.
And I had no idea. But even though that sounds sad, I still would say it's fair. Because women's is a specialized sport. It's created for, I don't want to say a disadvantaged group, but a group that would otherwise
would not be able to compete with the top athletes.
If we just made it an even playing field. So it's like, if we did the Paralympics or, the Special Olympics, and someone says, well, I have a disability. It's this. And they're saying, well, it's not the kind of disability that would allow you to compete in these sports. They have the right to say that. So these other athletes have a chance to truly compete and get awarded. So, I mean, it's just what it is.
Yeah. So she definitely don't, I'm looking at the pitch. She definitely don't give me Serena vibes at all. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Now, let me answer this. So it says, so this sounds effed up. Why can't trans people have their own Olympics like special needs have their own match like with like?
Yeah, Bernice, sorry, I don't know why your name's not coming up on your comment, but that's Bernice, one of our newest members of Freethinkers.
Hi, Bernice.
Yeah, hi, Bernice. I would say I don't have a problem with that. I think they definitely should, but I don't think that they should be limited to only competing at trans events.
Who can they compete with then?
Wouldn't that be that? I mean, that's
what I'm saying. I don't think that they should only be limited to you unless there's a trans high school track meet.
Oh,
then
you're
you
saying
can't.
the track meet should have trans heats.
I'm not even saying. I'm saying if you want to do a trans Olympics, that's perfectly fine. I think you should. Like I said, they got special Olympics for the mentally. They got the special Olympics for people who have physical impairments. They got old Olympics for people over a certain age range. I went to one of them before, so you can also have trans Olympics. But I don't think that a person can only compete at a trans event. Like it has to be a trans event for you to compete in it. I still think there should be a way to where if you was born a man, you still should be able to compete in normal, just like
you think trans women should compete with men?
Yes, I do. If you so choose. Now think about my sister. They actually asked her. My sister was an awesome athlete back in high school. I think she was asked for a time if she wanted to play on the boys basketball team. But that didn't exclude her from playing in the girls basketball team, so it's like you can still, just because they make a lane for you, that don't mean that you should be restricted to that lane. So I wouldn't want to
all sports just be co-ed?
No.
It would eliminate women's sports.
Which is why I don't think that trans women should play women's sports. But
yeah, you know what? You said it. That's it, Nikki. I'm trying to put yes. Trans people should not participate in women's athletics. Period. Whether you're born man
trans
or
people
woman,
can participate in men's athletics.
Absolutely.
Because they're
just like
already.
A woman can participate in men's athletics. There's certain women who've gotten good enough to play football. Most of them are kickers,
right.
But and they even made a movie like on a lower level where the girl was a quarterback with Ice Cube in there, and that was based off a true story. So I mean, if you're good enough, you can do it, but you're not limiting yourself to only. You can still play women's sports also. But yes, that's what I'm thinking. Any trans athlete exempt from women's sports. Period.
Wow. That changes. I don't think anyone's mentioned that in any of our conversations yet. That's an interesting dynamic.
What? Because this post presented a good argument, and that's for people who trying to find a wiggle room on this because they're like, all right, now what about this? Trans woman, this girl born trans man who's doing this. So it was a way they kind of flipped the script, which was creative.
Yeah,
which made me rethink about the way that I was saying it. Like,
right,
okay, I got you. It's good.
Yeah, I just unfortunately feel like this is one of those cases that you are never going to please.
Picture kills me. Put the picture back.
Put the picture back up.
Oh my god, propaganda is hilarious to me.
Yeah, somebody did get that picture at the right moment.
See, but that's the benefit now of high resolution cameras.
Right.
Because now you can it's a video and you can stop it at any point and the still frame still looks just as good as a picture. Back in the day, you'd have to have a high resolution camera and you have to catch the shot right at the moment. But now they can just slow. Okay, she looked like she choking. All right. The other girl looked like she mad and she don't care. All right, that's the one we want. Let's put the post up.
Mm-hmm. And just the power of media, the power of imagery, the power of planting imagery, the power of what they want you to feel, the emotion they're trying to invoke in you, like all that. Just like this one that I know you don't want to talk about, but the imagery in which they are trying to provoke.
You know what? Ivory, I'll let you get your thoughts first, and then I'll speak on it.
No, I don't have any thoughts.
Okay, so this
I
is
don't
my
think I can
first
talk
thought.
about this anymore.
Is this now? Let me. I'm gonna try to be fair first. That's Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle. I see the son Zaire, the older one. He's trying to go to the NBA. Is that his girlfriend or is that the sister?
I
That's
don't
his
know.
girlfriend.
Okay.
Okay. So he with his girlfriend.
Okay.
So the little one get to be with his boyfriend.
His boyfriend. Yeah, his boyfriend.
So and from that sense, it's fair.
Why they not showing the oldest one kissing his girlfriend?
Exactly. So this is that was I'm talking about the fair
okay,
part.
Okay, let me shut up.
That's fair. Now the other part, this is what it made me think. It almost made me feel like somebody was paying them for this. Like that close up and the little boy little white boy looked like he being forced to kiss him. But listen, you cannot be surprised. There's a lot of special agenda people who will pay for a picture like that. And also we need to, I think Michael Sam, I think they paid him for that kiss too. If you don't know Michael Sam,
I remember him.
First openly, and you remember he
gay NFL player. Yeah.
Wasn't nobody else kissing their girlfriends in the middle of the thing, tongue kissing them down and all that stuff. Right. It's like I think they pay for that stuff to get publicity out of that, to gain attention and to get traction for their cause. That's what it made me, because like, what's the purpose of you having a close-up of the boy? I don't know if he a boy or girl yet, but of the young son kissing the other boy. That's weird. And
I just haven't seen too many people post their children, even of opposite gender, kissing when they're
right.
14.
I put in the post. I said I'm married and you ain't gonna see me tongue kissing my wife in front of my parents.
You cannot see if they're tongue kissing. Be fair. It's just a kiss.
Well, what they doing? What? Listen, Ivory, once you cock the neck at a certain angle, that's the assumption. If you upright, if my face upright, your face upright, we can speculate that there's no tongue involved. If we both upright, by the time your neck go this way and my neck go that way, the reason you turn that way is because you're trying to insert your tongue in the other person's mouth. That's some wisdom for you right there. That's the whole purpose of it. You turn sideways because you're trying to get your tongue in there.
No,
I think it's planted, not planted, but I think that's paid for. I think it's paid for.
That's why I said what I said on the page, that this is not about inclusion anymore. And I think it stopped being about inclusion a long time ago. I think that trying to make it be about inclusion was part of the agenda, because you can't fucking fight somebody about inclusion and you look like an absolute jerk if you're trying to be an exclusionary person, right? So trying to justify it by saying, oh, well, we just have to be inclusionary and just love everybody. Ooh, okay, fine. But this is a monetized, this is a completely monetized agenda. There's money behind pushing the sexualization of children. And I know this, I say this a lot, but I am completely anti-sexualization of children. Why in the fuck are we promoting and applauding these 14-year-olds kissing period? And then doing it in front of our faces, and they're really exploiting these children, to be completely honest. If they want to be gay, if they want to be transgender, if they want to be whatever the fuck they want to be, me as a parent, I'm okay with that. My belief system tells me I'm gonna love you no matter who you love, as long as it is consensual. I'm okay with that, but I am not going to condone my fucking 14-year-old make it out in front of me and then post a picture of it. I have issues with women who, I feel like, and this is a horrible way to say this, but I'm going to say it this way, who whore their daughters out, who push their daughters out into the bed of a boyfriend at 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, get you a boyfriend, and like literally try to foster their daughters into relationships with boys. I have a fucking problem with that. That doesn't mean I don't want my child to be able to explore his or her sexuality. That does not mean I'm trying to deny them the opportunity to explore his or her sexuality. I'm the first one that's going to try to educate them about sexuality, about homosexuality, heterosexuality, the things that I've learned as a 43-year-old woman about poly relationships, single relationships, the toxic shit that I've learned as an adult at this point, the things I didn't know at 14 years old. If you can't get a driver's license, if you can't buy cigarettes, if you can't vote, and you can't even buy alcohol by certain ages, why would we promote 14-year-olds being sexually active and then act like it's not a fucking problem? Because if a kid in middle school had a picture of a boy and a girl like kissing or making out or anything like that, and they distributed that shit to like other kids in school, you fucking get in trouble for that.
Yep.
And God forbid there's a boob out or a butt cheek out or, something, out that people don't like. Now it's fucking disseminating pornography. So how can these two people put their kids out there like that unless there's money to be made by some agenda that is pushing this pedophilia? I'm sorry, this pedophilia agenda, because that's what it is to me. And I'm so bothered by that. And there was a person who had commented on the page that she was like, I'm disappointed in all of these feedback because, y'all are supposed to be free thinkers and,
let me find this. Hold on. Who said that?
People disappointed. They always come for our name.
right.
The name out there.
Free thinkers.
Free thinkers don't mean I think like you. It mean I got my own brain.
Well, and I understood what she meant about being able to be a parent who is able to have a conversation with your child about sexuality. I don't suppress my son's innate sexual, urges at 15. I don't necessarily know what they are because I wasn't a 15-year-old boy, but I know what's happening in there. So I'm not just going to act like it doesn't happen. I'm going to try to address it in a manner in which I feel like him and I can talk about this because it's me and him that got to talk about this. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to go be like, all right, so here's a Pornhub application and here is, I don't know, right? So go ahead and do whatever it is that you want. No, I have to prepare you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, all of those things for you to even be in that situation and it go maybe well. And I just think that by saying, I don't want to see my 14-year-old making out on, the internet or pictures posted of my 14-year-old on the internet means that you are suppressing their sexual curiosity or urges. And that's not the case.
And not only that, these kids 14, 15. Who's to say that they even gonna be together in a year or two? Do you want this circulating for the rest of your,
14 in 2022? Like everybody's like, oh, well, your grandmas had like 10 kids by the time they were 15. In 1940 and 50.
Right. It was a different time.
This is different time.
And to add to that, Nikki, I mean, I don't know about them and their level of wealth, money, protection, whatever.
Right.
But anybody should be careful about what they expose their children doing online because predators are always watching.
Literally.
And so what a predator is looking for is that you have a certain level of openness to sexual things as a child and that they could get away with some more from you, so I mean I wouldn't suggest you let your young children post anything that's sexual online for all of these predators out here.
Who's to say that when Zaya doesn't turn 21, 32, that he doesn't want that shared or he regrets that? Right. I mean, and that's unfortunately the consequence of posting things on the internet is once they're posted, whatever happens from that point forward is no longer up to you. But it's just like, aren't there things that you would want to protect about your child, to be able to protect your child? To just like them putting this out there is constantly allowing their child to be scrutinized and chastised and ridiculed, and the court of public opinion is able to say whatever they want. Like, that seems to be an awful large responsibility for this 14-year-old child to have to fill the role of. You're muted, Ivory. You're muted.
Sorry. According to Gabrielle Union, this is the responsibility that she wants.
And see, this is Ivory. I'm gonna take a page out of your book when you talk about I ain't worried about these rich people. Because this is another thing that they don't pay attention to. Just like Nikki was talking about, the danger. Okay, maybe it's not a danger to your daughter because Dwayne Wade and y'all worth about $500 million. He's part owner of a team. They got money. They got bodyguards going around with them everywhere. But the average person who puts this stuff out there, they are predators out there who look to prey on people like that. And they're not going to get that protection that your daughter gets. And that's the part that these rich people don't consider. You trying to normalize something, you're also putting a lot of people in danger doing that as well. And that ain't even just about the gay thing. That's gay, straight, just over sexualization of underage people in general. It's too, that's the same thing. Somebody's daughter was going to prom and then they was wearing certain type of for you got bodyguards and you got everybody. That's not everybody's ability to walk around that freely. Like they don't have a care in the world and there's no consequences and that people ain't watching them.
And I guess the part for me that I would like to try to impart people with when it comes to this particular topic and a lot of other topics is why? I'm not talking about why Gabrielle and why Dwayne Wade do this, but the people that are clearly pushing this agenda. What is the purpose? This purpose is not to normalize gay relationships. This purpose is not to normalize accepting your child possibly, being gay. Like, do those conversations need to happen? Yes, they do, because that is reality, whether we like it or not. But this is beyond that. This is pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, sexualizing. For what reason? There's a more nefarious agenda behind this. And so fuck our feelings. We've got to get down to why are they doing this to us and doing this to our children? And how are we supposed to respond to this? What can we do? It may be nothing, but I just think it's a really dangerous thing that's happening, and it's being pacified by you can't say anything because if you do, then you're gay bashing or you're transphobic or you're
part of the agenda. It's control.
That too. Yeah, when I saw that, I was instantly like, get the fuck out of here. These are children. Like, I don't even care that it's a boy and a boy. These are children. Why would you do that? Like, and like you said, Ivory, if it was a boyfriend and a girlfriend, I wouldn't like it anymore. It'd still be fucking gross.
Like, why are y'all tongue kissing each other in front of y'all parents? That don't make sense.
Yeah, it would look like a total photo op for money.
That's
I'd like to know what Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union's, cut is on some shit like this, because they're a part of the problem too.
I'm wondering about Dwayne. I'm wondering about him. That's strange. It's one of those things to where I'm not in that conspiracy theory thing, but this is the type of things that Smack could talk about, to where in order for you to get to that next level, for you to get in that club,
you gotta sell some shit out to get to that next level. Yep.
I don't be agreeing with, but it's kind of suspect.
It just don't make no sense.
Think about, like, I'm sure there's other owners and multi-millionaires / billionaires who have gay sons and daughters and siblings and people like that. They're not going around parading that stuff.
Right.
So what is it about
y'all
where y'all
sexually
exploiting your own children? That's weird.
It's gross.
It's weird. I'm questioning that. It's weird.
It's not weird. It's gross. It's gross. And it's like against everything we were taught as like good parents and like protectors of our children. And like, no, that's gross. Like, people are in prison for exploiting children sexually.
I'm trying not to go the gross route.
Well,
but
I don't think that boy kissing boy is gross. I think that exploiting your children sexually is pretty freaking gross. Now, boy kissing boy is certainly not what turns me on, but you know, that's different strokes for different folks.
I'm really working on that. I'm working on it. But yeah, the exploitation, if that's what it is, which it seems like that to me, then that's disgusting.
And I'm sorry for anybody listening to us. You can feel however you want to feel, but you can't tell us that we're wrong for feeling that this is exploitation of children. Because if you look up the definition of exploitation, that's what is happening here. This is exploiting them.
This is the other thing you ask yourself, Nikki. How many, if we are wrong, and if this is crazy what we're saying, how many of you, gay, straight, or in between, how many of you were tongue kissing, was that 15, 14? As a freshman, sophomore in high school, how many of you were tongue kissing your boyfriend or girlfriend in front of your parents?
Thank you.
If you were,
you probably got kids. You probably had kids in 10th grade, baby. And that's okay. I had one in 12th grade, goddammit. I'm not sitting up here throwing rocks at a glass house. I'm just saying.
Because if you could do that and get away with it, ain't no problem. Yeah, you probably, all right, y'all.
I'm just saying. Them apples don't fall far from the tree when you got shit like that happening.
Make sure you use the cherry flavor condoms I got up there for you. Y'all have a good time. I mean, if you could tongue kiss your boyfriend or girlfriend in front of you, y'all might as well was doing it. Y'all probably was doing it upstairs. All right.
At 14, I still couldn't even have a boy come over. Like, we could hang out as groups in the front yard or in the backyard where the pool was, but you
13 minutes last time. See if you can make it 15 minutes this time. Go ahead.
No. All right, what else? You got some more posts?
You can break the record.
I got a couple up here.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
You got any other posts that you saw?
I had one, but I can save it. Go ahead.
Well, I just have a bunch that I selected. So what did you have?
Okay, go ahead.
It may have been one I picked.
The one I was looking at, the one about Cam Newton. I had a little issue with that.
Did you?
Yes.
Let's see. Nope, not that one. I know I saved it. Here we go. All right. Now I can't read that. Well, I can on my computer, but I can't on my phone.
Oh, there's a lot to read. But NFL quarterback Cam Newton is coming under fire for a statement he made in an interview about women. Cam said, "I grew up in a 3-parent household. My mom, my father, my grandmother. A woman for me is handling your own, but knowing how to cater to your man's needs. And I think a lot of times women get that aesthetic of being a boss bee. Yeah, but you can't cook. You don't know when to be quiet. And you don't know how to let a man lead. Is the boss bee mentality moving women away from the standardized or general roles of contemporary wife? Or are things mentioned not gender specific anymore? Is the lack of these attributes in women the reason for a low marriage percentage?" What you think, Ivory?
You're muted, Ivory, just in case.
You got a baby crying back there? If the baby ain't August ain't,
she's gonna out of here. I had no real problem with what he said. I didn't. I didn't think what he said was wrong. And I think that we're all entitled to want what we want. After being single as long as I have, well, I think she's trying to jump back in. After being single as long as I have and being able to experience men and women in different relationships on the levels in which I have now for the last, 6 years, I definitely can see why he said what he said. But I'm also okay with gender roles. I'm also okay with old school traditional roles. I'm also okay with men doing some of the shit that we say men's supposed to do and women doing stuff that we say women's supposed to do. Like I'm okay with that. I'm also okay with us sharing duties. Like, but I didn't think that what he said was offensive. It was kind of wild to me to see how many women were very offended and had a problem with what he said. And honestly, ladies, that's kind of part of the problem too. Like one of the things that somebody posted, I think it was Trey. I think Trey said sometimes we just have to shut the fuck up and listen. Like all of us, men and women. Like sometimes we just have to shut up and listen to the opposite sex. We just have to hear what they say. And that doesn't mean that you have to adhere or you have to, subscribe to or change everything about you. But if you're trying to compromise and be in a lasting relationship with a partner, and this is how your partner feels, like you got to have a conversation. You have to be able to have a conversation about this. And you're either with it or you're not. To me, it's one or the other.
No, okay, hold on.
Okay,
so for Nikki, it's
okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Ivy. Go ahead, Ivy.
Oh, go ahead.
Write it down.
Me,
don't lose it.
I'm gonna say that for me, it's this is my problem with the statement and the pushback to the statement. For me, it's not one or the other. He is totally fine and within his rights to have his opinion on how he wants the dynamic of his relationships to go.
Agree.
And someone else who has a different perspective, they're perfectly fine as well. It gets me sick to my stomach where people keep trying to force, I'm gonna keep saying this over and over, this groupthink mentality to where that's no longer acceptable. You got to think like this. You got to speak this way. It's not okay for you. Why not? He's speaking to his preference.
I think this is the issue that's happening, though, is that a growing percentage of Black women are not getting married, even though they desire marriage. And statistics are saying they will never get married. And that number keeps growing. So now we have all of these, shade tree relationologists trying to diagnose why that is the case, is what we're encountering.
Kevin Samuels.
There's a social
Derek Jackson
in our community. And now people who probably don't have the, the pedigree to diagnose it. Everybody's trying to diagnose this social issue, just to answer what you just said. Does that make sense?
I think so.
Okay. So, but this is what I was going to say, if I can remember now. It's two things that's wrong. I don't think exactly what he said is wrong, but I keep hearing people like him say it, which still lets me know there's a disconnect, right? Because normal men who were relationally focused normally get married a little earlier in their 20s, mid-20s, late 20s. They stay in marriages, and even if they get out of marriages, they get in new marriages. So what
you've been saying this for a while, Ivory,
are men who cannot maintain relationships, have not chosen to get married, are rolling into their 30s and 40s. Either they have done it, they don't desire to do it again, or they've done it badly. They're chronic daters. You are picky. And I'm not hearing from the chronic monogamous men. These kind of constant commentaries are coming from these extra picky, I can't settle down men. So I hate to say it's the messenger that's bothering me, but I would much rather hear the take of men who actually try to work things out with women and have shown a track record of doing that than these same type of men who have no track record of truly working through anything with anybody. Because I think everybody is saying some things that are true, but just from bad places. I don't know if that's
Ivory, yes, it does make sense. And that's part of the problem, because somebody like me who, forget about me, but just somebody who's in a relationship and they doing well, that relationship is reality.
Right.
And social media is not reality. There's elements of truth to a part of it, but the it itself, that's not my. I peer into social media for entertainment purposes and general awareness, but I don't use it for my source of friendship, for my source of connection. That's not what social media is for. And anybody who's in a meaningful relationship, social media can't be your sole connection, sole way that you connect with people and friends and stuff like that. So my point is, the people who are in good relationships, most of the time, the majority is not going to give that type of language the time of day.
And they don't speak like that about relationships.
Right. And it's like,
Because the reality of a relationship, nobody fits in those tropes completely. To me, the only reason you can keep kind of those men do this and women do this and women out here calling themselves bad bees and men out here and don't. The only way you can keep those tropes going is because you have not worked through a meaningful relationship to find out none of those rules apply long term in a real relationship. You got to figure that stuff out as you go along and try to put all them labels on a person and see if they just fit your box. Like, it don't work like that. People don't fit into little neat, tidy boxes of what you think something should exactly be. Yeah.
So let me ask a question. Because Bernice, I don't know if it was Berenice, she said also, out of fairness, more black men don't marry black women. Now, my question, it sparked a question for me. My question is, and I'm going back to you, Ivory, but I'm going back to you, Ivory. Are people waiting too late to try to get married?
Yes. But let me say this. I want to be very clear about this because this has been one of my things. And Bernice, thanks for asking. Because, yes, black men do marry other races at a higher percentage than white men. But 80% of black men marry black women. So I still think we need to keep that very clear. Because sometimes the way people speak about it, you would think the number is
they do, they just
large.
go find
Right.
It is not. So even though it is, I think maybe 10% of white men, something 10 or 12, and 20% of black men, is still the majority of black men marry black women. So I don't want black women to get caught up on because they out here marrying everybody else. No, they're not. They marry black. If they are going to get married, they are normally going to marry a black woman. But yes, I do believe people are waiting way too long to get married. That is something you should start genuinely thinking about in your mid-20s is who you want to.
What's too late?
I was just gonna say, like, what's the prime marriage age? Let's see how we spin this bottle.
I think
23 to 28.
I was gonna say 24 to 27.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Knowing what you know now, you would encourage your children to get married at 23, like based on your experiences,
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Oh my God.
I'm so adamant about this. I'm on them girls. Y'all go to college and you get your education, and around that junior year, pick one. The best one. Pick the best one that just loves everything about you and you like them, but survey your atmosphere, see what your options are, and pick the best one before you leave that place.
And it sounds crazy, but Nikki, just think about this. With most of a lot of women who complain about being single, it's usually once they hit their 30s, they mid-30s, and
we don't be caring when we in our 20s. So we don't care.
Yeah, but by the time you in your 30s, and then men and women are so set in their ways, and it's so funny to hear a single woman in her late 30s talk about they talking out of two sides of their mouth. One side they want a relationship, but the other side, I got to be me. If you can't accept me for who I am, then you just don't need to be. I'm like, do you know marriage takes compromise? we're not telling you to change the core and the soul of who you are, but this mindset to where I'm gonna be me and I'm gonna do me, and they better take it or leave it.
I don't necessarily subscribe to that either.
But a lot of people, when they get later on and they've been accustomed to being single for so long, that's the mentality that they take, and they don't even understand. Like, you saying one thing and you're speaking against what you say you want in another breath. I'm like, you understand, like, marriage, you will compromise.
Right.
There's no such thing as changing the soul of who you are.
Right.
That's not gonna happen.
Right.
But you will make concessions.
Right.
You have children, those children are gonna force concessions. When you work and you have bills and you have everyday life, all of those things are there's gonna be a couple dozen things that you may not do or have done if you were single, but since you're not, you're gonna move differently.
Right.
And we need to say this too. Men who are interested in monogamy are normally serial monogamous.
Ivory been saying that for a while.
Until her 30s.
Ivory say, catch him on the rebound. Ivory say, get that rebound.
Oh no.
Ivory say, you better. But I heard her point is good. Tell her your point.
I know. I'm not down with the rebound.
Why do the rebound?
Men who want to be in a monogamous relationship are typically serial monogamous.
Right.
And so those type of men, they've always known they want to be in a relationship. So they're not going to get married in their 20s or in very serious relationships in their 20s. And then a lot of times women look up in their 30s and they're like, where are my options? Oh, boo, they got married already. They're in relationships because men who want to be in relationships are not waiting until their 30s to get into serious relationships.
True.
Now, you want one of these men that are serial monogamous and only want to be with one person, they are only staying single about 6 months between relationships. They don't stay single for years. That's not what they do. They're going to have about 6 months and they're going to enter another serious relationship. And so then if women are not willing to go ahead and say, okay, you just got out that relationship, but I'm the next one, then you're going to miss them. And then
6 months is different.
Nikki, hold on a second.
What?
Ivory, you a prophet. It's so fun. I was married for over 10 years. It was 6 months from the time we split.
Clockwork.
I am a serial monogamist.
I know. That's
one. And you will hear me talk about from time to time how fun it was to be single for those months. I enjoyed it. But I also knew that wasn't me and that wasn't my lifestyle.
Right.
6 months. That's what January. I don't want to be with you no more. We split. By the time July hit, I was in a new relationship with somebody I'm still with now. 5 years later, I'm still in another long-term relationship.
I can't believe it's been that long already.
Right. But I mean, she's spot on. It's like
my
people
husband left a 4-year relationship and met me 4 months later. Been together for 15 years. He's a serial monogamous.
There's always exceptions to the rules. I mean, it also
don't be waiting. Don't be waiting.
Somebody exceptions to rules.
There is, and it makes a difference at the stages in your life in which you're in. But I was just telling somebody earlier today, I have encouraged my daughter to stay single as long as she wants, or to just stay in a, if she chooses an open relationship, or to not be tied down to another person. She doesn't have kids either. So, I mean, that's fine. And, she's been dating women for years now. So I don't really have to worry about any freak children coming into the picture, and now having to deal with some random dude she's got to have forever because this is her baby daddy type bullshit, right? So it's kind of nice that I don't have to worry about
them girls is violent though. I'm gonna tell you that.
Well, but and thankfully she's she's had a few good relationships that she's been in since she started dating women. But I had a kid when I was 18, got pretty much married and tied down by the time I was 22, and I don't regret my life that I lived. I regret some of the decisions that I made and some of the things that I allowed to happen in my life because I didn't know any better, and because I was young, and because I was trying, and because I was trying to play the role and do grown people shit. She doesn't want to be tied down. She doesn't want to have kids. She doesn't want to do any of those things anytime soon. And she's like, you gave your entire life to us, your whole life. She's like, all you do is us. She's like, you can't do what you want, when you want, how you want. You can't pick up and go. She's like, you know, she's convinced, and I've felt this ever since I had her, that my role on this earth was to be a mom. Like, I don't know if I'll ever do anything else, you know, with myself, but being a mom and like raising and tending to children and loving children and fostering children, like that's just what I do. Like, and you really have to be tapped into that. You really have to be committed to a role of a mother and a wife and a husband and a father and all these things. And she's not interested in that. And I'm so grateful that she knows that about herself, to where she knows, I can go spend all the money I want and be dead ass broke, and I'm still going to be okay. I can go on this trip. I can be okay. I can be frivolous. I'm going to be okay. Like, I don't have to worry about meeting somebody else's needs right now. And so on one hand, I don't know anything different than being a mother and a wife at the age of, 18, 21, all the way up through 37. But I don't encourage her to shack down. I encourage her to live her life, see the world, explore what she wants to on her terms. And then after you've gotten all that shit out of your system, or you've seen the 7 wonders of the world, if you're ready to settle down, then settle down. Or if you're never,
all
then
right.
don't.
All right. That's where we pause right there. That is perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. Understand that if you live that single life and enjoyment and travel the world and do all you want to do, when you decide that you're ready to settle down, in a lot of instances, other people have already been doing that way before you.
Then they're not the right people. They're not the people for me.
It's fine. It's fine. The only problem that is an issue with, because there's some people I know in their 50s and they're perfectly happy with being single and they wouldn't want it another way. No problem.
Right.
That's good. I'm saying if you want to live out that life and then come back and say, oh, I think I'm ready to settle down at a certain age, you have to understand
it might not work
that
out.
you are. I ain't gonna say it can't work out, but you're late in the game. Your pool has shrunk. The same opportunities that you saw some of your friends do earlier in their 20s, and it seemed like it seamlessly happened for them. It's a good chance that won't be your story. Just like for me, if I wanted to be a rapper right now, I could be.
That's a different market than being a husband. That's a way different market than being a husband.
Follow what I'm saying. What I'm talking about is time available, time missed.
Right.
If I really wanted to, I should have grinded harder in my 20s. To do it now in my 40s, it's still possible. Mm-hmm. But to try to gain Justin Bieber, Bow Wow success, like to try to market, me being a 40-something-year-old man trying to market to pop culture, dealing with kids 15 to 25, not likely. Now I have to reevaluate, revamp what my standards are. See, in my 20s, then I might have had a certain goal of what the type of success I wanted to have then. At 40, now you got to think about something. Maybe I can look. I ain't gonna hit MTV. I might try to get a couple of clubs on 6th Street. I might try to do. It's a different. So now, but that's the problem though. See, because people, they don't want to rewire their criteria when they've already passed up their hotspot. Your hotspot was that 23 to 27, 24 to 28 type stuff. That was your hotspot. You passed that up because you wanted to live a good single life. Nothing wrong with that. You come back in when you're 33, 34, 35. You can't try to come back in like when you was 25.
No,
you need to change your
you
criteria.
can't. You should, and if you can't be flexible.
These posts are a sign of people who didn't learn how to change their criteria when that time has passed. This is literally an example of wanting to have your cake and eat it too. You wanted to live a single life, you wanted to enjoy it, but then you want all the fruits of a relationship. And by the way, your best friend, they've already put 10, 12, 15 years into their relationship.
I don't think that's wanting to have your cake and ice cream and eat it too. I think that's just you knowing when
because your friend, the one that's
ready.
been married for the last 10 years, they forsook a lot of that single time enjoyment, going out, bars, club, hanging out, all that fun stuff, just living it up, doing whatever we want to, because I ain't got no kids and I can do it. They forsook a lot of that. And now they've built tenure in their relationship. But you want to come late in the game.
Somebody.
But you don't have to want the same thing as the next person. And just because you decide to start that process later in life does not mean that you're going to be excluded.
I'm talking to the people who have an issue with the type of stuff that Cam Newton is saying.
Right.
To where now, how come I can't be a boss B and do this and this and that? And now they have an issue with someone who has a traditional mindset because you wasn't willing to put in that type of, and even if that ain't your mindset, you got to be willing to put in time relationally.
Right.
And they weren't willing to do it, but now they want to reset the rules, or they want to question why things are not working the way that they should work.
Right.
And as you're not working, you don't understand where you are in life right now. That's your problem.
I was gonna say it go either way, because for some women it's just I want to have fun. I want to keep things light through my 20s. I don't want things to be too serious. Then other people get, super caught up on career, super caught up on being successful, all of that. And then, but I mean, I think the tough thing as a woman is you really have to, I think we teach people they don't have to make hard decisions in their 20s. That all of the hard decisions can wait for your 30s. And I just think that we do young people a disservice when we tell them they don't have hard decisions to make in their 20s, and that the decisions that they make in their 20s won't affect the next couple of decades of their life. But I mean, I feel like that's the messaging I kind of got. It's like, oh, you're young. Oh, you're young. You're like, no, I'm setting my 30s up right now. I'm setting possibly my 40s up right now, my 20s. Like, you have some hard decisions to make.
True that.
And if one of that decisions is like, hey, do you really want to grind? Do you want to make this all about your career? Do you want to do this? Okay, well, there's a possibility you might get to your 30s and you don't have the available pool of men that you thought you would have had maybe when you were in college, but you will have the type of career, salary, independence that you always dreamed of. Will that be enough for you if you don't meet the perfect person? So you don't have to compromise with someone who's not perfect. Will what you built with your career, will that be fulfilling enough if it doesn't happen in your 30s and 40s? And if the answer is yes, then grind, do that. But if the answer is no, then you need to think, is that really what I want?
See, and this is the basic problem that I see a lot of women have. So even that you bypassed a certain portion of time where other people were investing in, but you invested in other ways, hopefully. But then when you decide you want to get back in the game, you still have these very stringent criteria. I tell people all the time, if you just go 10 to 15 years older, you always going to be young and fresh as somebody. That's how you kick your time back. If you're 35, find you somebody 45 to 50.
No, don't do that. If that's not what you're down for, don't do that.
See, you see that? That's my point.
That ain't what you want. If that ain't what you want,
you still.
Don't send.
That's what I'm saying.
You damn right. I'm still single. You damn right.
Age is relative. She
She
said, "Don't send them off. Don't send them off."
You still single, Nick?
No, not you, Q.
Oh.
No, I'm telling. No, it's absolute. Listen, age is relative. So you trying to 35, and you trying to find somebody 35, maybe. Especially this is going the rudest part that sounds rude. You could be 40 and the man could be 40, and he gonna look at you like you old.
It's true.
You 40.
It's not a lie.
It is.
It's not a lie.
You 40 and you find somebody 55. Find you good 55, good in shape 55-year-old. You a young tenderoni to them.
I'm okay with not being a young tenderoni if that's the case. I don't need to be a tenderoni.
But no, it ain't about being a tenderoni,
40, baby. Let's be 44, 45. But I don't need to be a tenderoni.
And attractive to your partner.
Say that again.
I say it's about being exciting and attractive to your partner.
Yeah, well, to me, a 55-year-old man is not exciting.
You don't know what he look like, Nikki. And if you marry him, but y'all both gonna be 55 eventually.
I've seen a whole lot of 50-year-old men. And that's not to say that all 50-year-old men are not attractive, but as a 43-year-old woman, I am not attracted to a 50-year-old man.
Nikki, if you marry him, y'all both gonna end up being 55 one day.
At the same time. But not this whole, I'm 20 years, 15 years younger, so I can be your tenderoni. No.
You just make my point perfect.
Oh, this is the other thing about marrying.
What'd you say, Ivory?
This is the other thing about marrying younger. You really want to come up with somebody. Like you want to pick somebody with good potential and come up with them. Because a lot of the things women are complaining about right now is because the man that makes the kind of money and is the kind of responsible that they want is looking for a certain type of a woman if they're single at the age that women want them, right? So you in your 30s.
Hold on. Say that again.
Okay, let me be clear. You in your 30s now, and you also want a woman in your 30s. You want a man in their 30s too. But this man has a bunch of money and all this stuff. This man comes with a ton of requirements for what type of woman he wants to marry. Now, you caught that same man when he was 23, but he was on the come up. He did not have all those requirements. And not only did you not have to have all those requirements, you got to help mold him while he molded you too. So now women are like, in their 30s talking about, oh yeah, I want me a successful man and I want somebody responsible and I want somebody who can hold it down. And they like, yeah, if you cute enough and you young enough, you can have me for this. And women like, well, it shouldn't be like that. Well, somebody gonna do it. And sometime they're gonna be 5 or 10 years younger than you. I'm just saying, you want to catch them young on the come up, and you will not be under such strenuous rules. I'm just being real, y'all.
Be real up in there. Can we be real?
I'm listening.
All right, look. All right, we done. It's 9:53. This is a great conversation.
We'll talk about that at another time. We can revisit this if you want to engage in this conversation. Bring your ass online next Tuesday, 8:05 p.m. and we'll talk about this some more.
Absolutely. No, that was a good conversation.
It was a good conversation, and there was quite a few other posts that I definitely wanted to hit, but that's okay. I mean, that's kind of like the fun part about Pick Your Post, like you said at the beginning, is we just really get to just talk about the stuff that people have posted on there. So keep sharing your stories and your info and your podcast and your products and your upcoming news and any shows that you have. Of course, share those always at Free Thinkers. We have a great network of people all over the country who, are certainly being able to tap in with other people. And it's a great community. So follow us on YouTube, Free Thinkers Worldwide. Follow us on Facebook, of course, the Facebook Free Thinkers Facebook group page. Of course, follow High IQ as well. That's the show that Quentin and Ivory do on Monday nights. Follow Black Tea Talk. Anybody in the comment section who's got anything you want to share, of course, post it in the comments. And, we will continue this conversation as days go on. So for anybody who is watching this after we air, if you post comments in the comment section, we'll keep it going with you. If it becomes a hot topic, you'll see it talked about next Tuesday. So, we can always do that. Do you guys have anything you want to share? Any news you want to share before we clock out?
No, great conversation.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for having me on High IQ last night. That was a great. Go watch last night's High IQ as well. And the Monday before, to just, hear about some interesting perspectives about relationship changes. That was a really grown up ass conversation. So I really liked that.
So
that's
Nikki,
it. Next Tuesday, share the page, 8:05 p.m.
What you gonna watch this week, Nikki?
Black Mirror. I'm going to watch episodes of Black Mirror this week. I will have some down by Tuesday of next week. But yeah, y'all share the page. Thank you for supporting us and joining us. And we will see you next Tuesday, every Tuesday, 8:05 Live Central. Good night.
Good night.